Well, members of the migrant caravan are not American. They're not even in the United States yet. According to the left, that makes no difference. To the left, there are two groups of people in the world, current American citizens and American citizens who simply haven't shown up yet. If you don't want them here immediately, then you are a monster. Watch.
The President of the United States has decided that a couple of thousand scared, sick, people fleeing violence are a bigger threat to the United States than ISIS.
I spent 2 days with a caravan, and I didn't see criminals or rapists or terrorists.
Donald Trump feeds off of this kind of ugliness and cruelty, and his supporters back him on it because they didn't get the wall, but now they might be able to stop an imaginary caravan.
People have gotten so much dumber in the last 2 years. It's unbelievable. And it shouldn't surprise us that in the face of programming like that, a dozen Honduran migrants have sued the administration for supposedly violating their constitutional rights, even though, once again, they have not yet reached the border yet, and they are, of course, not American citizens. Mike Donovan is CEO of Nexus Services, which is financing that lawsuit. He joins us tonight. Mike, thanks a lot for coming on. And for explaining to me...
Thanks for having me.
Well, of course. A sincere question, and I really am glad that you're here, because it's hard to see what the standing is here. These are people who are not American citizens, are not on American soil, and some of them have declared intent to violate American law. How are their constitutional rights, the Constitution of a country they're not part of, how are those rights being violated exactly?
Well, so of the named plaintiffs in this lawsuit, each of them and each of the individuals in the purported class are individuals who want to seek asylum and do so legally. So I think that's an important part of this conversation. But Tucker, it's a good question. The asylum, so we have an immigration law, it's a series of immigration laws, and one of those elements is asylum. And those laws are specific to the individuals in this caravan who are coming to claim asylum. That in alone, it may not be enough, but the President of the United States has taken to making this caravan a symbol of an invasion of our country. And he has taken a great deal of time to defame the individuals who are traveling, fleeing bloodshed in their home countries, trying to find a place where they can live and support their families.
Okay, I get it, but hold on. What does that have to, and I understand you don't like that and you're on their side, you don't like Trump, fine. But what is that, how does that mean that they have a constitutional right that is being violated? What is that right? Where in the Constitution does it reside? As just a normal American, I'm confused. Can you help me?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a right to due process. These individuals are coming to the country. They have, in one way or another, stated their intent to come to the country, and the chief executive of this country has taken aim and attacked them. So what I'm saying is that their standing is very simple. They're asylum seekers. They want clarification. I think that we should respect these migrants for taking
maybe
the
we
time
should.
to seek
Hold on, wait,
clarification.
stop. This is a legal question, so I get it. We should respect them. You're on the side of the migrants. That's your right. I just want to know where my responsibility begins as an American citizen. Sure. You're saying they have a constitutional right to due process, but they're not Americans and they're not on U.S. soil. They're hundreds of miles from the United States. They're not here. So in what sense are they covered by our due process protect? Like, this is insane, and you know it's insane. I just want you to admit that it's insane.
No, it's not insane, Tucker. They are claiming rights under the asylum provisions of our statutes that affords them due process rights under that law. We have due process under the law. This is a law that is specifically directed to them. So, of course, they have due process rights.
No, they don't. Let me just correct you as a non-lawyer. They do not possess those rights if they're in another country and not U.S. citizens. So if they possess those rights, then, I don't know, the entire country of Nigeria, or pick a country that's poorer than the United States, can say, we want to come there. President says you can't come, and all of a sudden 800 million people sue you for violating their constitutional rights in the country they've never been to?
With all due respect, Tucker, you know that that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about individual migrants who are coming together, who are on their way to the border to exercise their rights under U.S. law.
No, but
due process rights under that law.
It's not different. But hold on, because it's a few.
It is different.
What's the principle? In what sense is it different? What's the principle? If
because
you are a foreigner residing in a foreign country, okay. Well, I don't know if they're en route or not.
If the entire nation of Nigeria were en route to the United States, perhaps it would be apples to apples. But that's what you said. It's not correct. These are individuals coming to this country to seek asylum.
Okay, but first of all, you don't know that. We don't know what their intent is.
Sure, hundreds
of. No, actually, you don't. They're hundreds of miles away, and asylum claims have to be made on U.S. soil, either in an embassy, a consulate, or at our border. Okay, that's the law. Speak as someone who purportedly defends the law. You know that, I know. So you can't actually claim that you're covered by the U.S. Constitution, again, if you're not on U.S. soil and you're not a U.S. citizen. Because if you could,
unfortunately,
no, that is the
argument,
law.
But Tucker,
it's not an argument; it's a fact.
The courts don't agree with you. There's a court case in the D.C. Circuit that is in the matter of R.L. Johnson, where Judge Bosberg said that the administration can't use deterrence to curb asylum seekers who are coming to this country. I'm afraid that this is an area of law that's already been litigated. I'm not concerned about standing here.
You are incorrect. You're factually incorrect.
I'm not.
The United States, hold on. The United States Supreme Court has never said that due process protection applies to non-citizens on foreign soil. That has never happened, and you know it.
The District of Columbia federal courts have, and that's where this case is.
So
and maybe one day we'll get to the Supreme Court. But I think it's important.
But look, here's what's important. Hold on. Here's what's important is that the rest of us know what the precedent is. And so by this standard, anyone in any country who says he's on his way to the United States and is walking in our direction can sue the United States for saying we don't want you? Like, you really want to set that precedent, or you don't care?
If the president, do I want to set the precedent, Tucker? If the president of the United States engages in abusive, violent rhetoric toward a group of people, I want to set the precedent that that's not okay. It's with all due respect.
Okay. No, you know what? You're messing with our legal system
because
and our
I'm calling the president. This president is behaving badly, and you know
you don't like the president.
And you
so
should condemn it too. It's not a matter of not liking the president. I don't like the president.
Every one of these people, please.
I don't like the president threatening to shoot children with rocks. Do you honestly believe that's okay?
I'm not going to give you more airtime to do a CNN. Do I think it's okay? I want to talk about adult things, like what does the Constitution guarantee foreigners? Is it okay that he's mean? Okay. Thank you.